Let's shift gears. Match number 2 on Tuesday. One of my squads against one of your squads. Rewinding all the way back to our UEFA Champions League preview. My squad, Benfica, they are hosting Lyon. What do we need to know about this one? This one's in that second slot on Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern.
I'm jealous that Benfica is your squad. I mean, they're your squad in terms of that's who, when we were breaking up the groups and what groups we were focusing on. I want to, if there's any room, I'm trying to chase down the Benfica bandwagon. Hold on, let me on there too.
I'm going to grab the ITC personal record book. Benfica, our squad. Let's go.
All right. I appreciate that.
Welcome aboard.
All right, excellent. So I do think Benfica could use some Kika Nazareth sorcery in this one. We talked a couple weeks ago about her insane scorpion kick. She's looked to be in good form recently, but Lyon is still Lyon. As much as I appreciate you allowing me to get onto the bandwagon, Lyon is 2-0 since they returned to play in March. That included a 4-0 victory over Fleury on Friday. But when you have Kika Nazareth on the field, Jessica Silva, their kind of creative attacking style, I think you're always going to have a chance. And you pointed it out with Ajax, they're going to be playing at Benfica in this one in Portugal. So as the newcomer to the squad, obviously you have more of the Benfica background. What can you tell us about what kind of this dynamic squad should be looking to do against Lyon?
Yeah, so a couple things at play here. You obviously mentioned one huge one, Kika Nazareth. Kika Magic, whatever you want to call her. She's back in the Benfica mix in a huge way. You may recall she missed Benfica's final 2 group stage matches against Rosengard and Barcelona. Benfica able to advance to the quarterfinals anyway. They've been on a bit of a tear, man, through their domestic league, El Campeonato Nacional Femenino, or Liga BPI. The sponsors are listening. Since Kika's return, 2 goals and 2 starts. Let's go. And she also made an appearance as a sub in the 62nd minute of Benfica's win over Famalicão. Now, I know Lyon has all the talent, and if they play anywhere near their potential, they'll make quick work of this Benfica side, even in Portugal. But I do think for Lyon to prevail on Tuesday, they're going to have to play the match on their terms. So lots of high-quality possession, lots of Basha ball, Diani active in dangerous areas, Ada Hegerberg aggressive, continual pressure on the defense from her. It really just depends on what this game looks like. If it looks more wide open, more kind of gunslinging, and we're kind of going up and down, that really does favor Benfica. One last interesting note, and these formations are courtesy of our friends at FB Ref. In Benfica's first group stage match against Barcelona, they went with a back 4. Kika, who you mentioned, Jessica Silva, who you also mentioned, up top. They got mushed in that one, 5-0. No chance, over before it started. They then switched to a back 3, kept that shape for the remaining 5 group stage matches, which included their 4-4 slugfest with Barcelona, and a ticket to the quarterfinals. I'm going to be really interested to see how Benfica line up against this Lyon side, because I think how they set up just out of the gate is going to be pretty telling. And again, if this is a wide open, up and down kind of match, I think it really does favor Benfica. If Lyon kind of big sister, little sisters, this Benfica side controls the match, controls the ball, could be a long 180 minutes for Benfica. We'll see. So it's really just going to come down to who gets to play this one their way.
Yeah, that's a great point. I trying to think back to that episode after. I think the Benfica Barcelona match, the first one, that was the one where I think you had said, wow, Benfica is 0% scared of Barcelona. And then after a few minutes, you were like, they should have been a little scared of Barcelona.
Should have been 20-25%. Yeah.
And I can tell you, the formation piece, that's awesome, man. That is such great insight because, this team, they don't play lacking confidence. And so when you say, you know what, screw it, we want to put another person in the midfield or get another person forward, and you look at those 3 defenders and you go, it's on you now. We're going to need you 3 to be able to hold up. And you look at your midfielders and say, I need you to track back when you got to track back. And then you got to get forward when you got to get forward. I thought there was something really interesting that Lyon manager Sonia Bonpastor said. Her parents are originally from northern Portugal. Bonpastor was born in France, at least according to what I had read, but her parents are native Portuguese. She said, quote, my entire Portuguese family supports Benfica and has this club in their blood. We played 2 years ago. My family had the opportunity to travel and will be there again. She went on to say, quote, this tie allows us to face a good team, which drew 4-4 with Barcelona in the last group stage match. They have a philosophy of play with great attacking qualities. so we will have to be very cautious. Portuguese women's football is progressing well, and the clubs are becoming stronger. End quote. Sonia, I don't know if you've been listening to the program, but we've been talking about Portugal for several months now and couldn't agree more. And I realize some of those might sound like coach speak, some of those might sound like coach quotes, but Bon Pastor is the manager of the second most elite club in the world. And
Yeah.
she knows exactly what the fuck she's talking about. And I think the extra piece of that, of her having that little bit of Portuguese heritage, is she knows what football is there, intimately. So for her to talk about their philosophy of play with great attacking qualities, I don't think that's coach speak. I think she's telling the players at Lyon, if you screw around with this, we might be looking at a 2-2 draw or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was surprised. The part of her quote that kind of surprised me was her inkling that they had to be very cautious. Because if that's the case and we get a more, let's say, responsible Lyon attack, maybe they want to just kind of hold the ball a little bit more and, pick their spots a little bit better, that can also play into Benfica's hands a little bit. Because I think if they're any kind of percent out of their normal flow, I think that really helps Benfica, and I think you just wonder if the Portuguese lineage, sort of some of the juju around it, the family, you just wonder kind of how that stuff starts to bubble a little bit. So that part really, I don't know, that one perked my antennas a little bit.
I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting the way she framed it. I will be looking for, we talk about with this Lyon side every time. I don't know if there's our Michael Jordan type antics in the locker room. I'm not talking about illegal gambling or anything like that, but and for the record, Dino and I extremely pro gambling.
Legal gambling, of course.
Of course. Is there any? Yeah. I didn't even know illegal gambling existed. Do you ever think Diani and Hegerberg and Basha and Haran look at each other and go, how fast can we score today? Because they try in those Champions League group stage games, and you see it in D1F too. I mean, they score within 12 minutes pretty often. So I'm watching out for that.
That's a great point. I mean, I think this Benfica side, especially if they're in a back three, playing on the front foot, I mean, they're going to be prone to give it up a quick one. I mean, Lyon's definitely, they've snuck a couple in under the 10-minute mark in the group stage, and they're just that dangerous. The problem is that everybody can score. Everybody's really good. Everybody's really smart. A bunch of high IQ players. So I think that's something that Benfica is going to have to protect against. Lyon, as I mentioned, all the talent in the world, they're going to be a super tough out. But let's not forget, they did get bounced from this tournament in the quarterfinals last year when they couldn't get past Chelsea. And that was pretty much with their whole squad. So while Lyon does dominate D1F year in, year out, they did run off 4 straight Champions League titles. Last one of the 4 was in 2019. They've only gotten out of the quarterfinals twice since then. I think they've got 3 exits at this stage in the quarterfinals last 5 years. Still, though, for Benfica, tall task. But I don't know, getting a funny feeling that Lyon might be gettable this week by this Benfica side. What do you think about that?
I love your spirit. I mean, let's go. I mean,
our spirit. You love our spirit.
Our spirit. Go. Yes. I'm on the bandwagon. I mean, this is what happens when you play this is the beauty of the home and home. I'm going to stick to my point. I think the first 18 minutes of this match kind of give us the window of how the rest are going to go. Crazy atmosphere. There are going to be nerves, but then there's going to be energy from Benfica. And then Lyon in their constant race of can they score a goal within 25 seconds of the match starting. So how does that look? And then, we get to that kind of first stage of the match, the first round, to use some boxing parlance that you might appreciate. I think that will tell us how this will go.
I think that's a great insight. Because right around that 20-minute mark, that first Barcelona match that you mentioned, that was when I think it was already 2-0 at that point. Mm-hmm. That was then when Alexia poached Esme Brooks' goal, and I think Salma got one, right after that. So Benfica not able to survive those first 20 minutes, and we already know how dangerous Lyon is. I think that's a great call. Let's lock into that first period, see who's kind of dictating the style of the match, and I think that'll give us great insight into what we can expect. Again, this one going down Tuesday, March 19th, 4 p.m. Eastern. Definitely be sure to like if you liked and subscribe if you want to hear more from your boys. We also talked this week about the NWSL's opening weekend and all the absolute bangers we saw there as well. And we get into Ajax Chelsea, BK Hack and PSG, and the main event, you might call it, to use a little bit more boxing parlance.
Yeah.
SK Braun hosting the defending champs, Barcelona. So, subscribe already. Let's go.
Hop on board. I mean, if you're not watching these matches, I don't know what you're doing. But if you're watching this program, then you are watching the matches, and we appreciate you rocking with us. And we're looking forward to talking about it after we actually get to see him play. We will see you there.